the ability to know his players, what he has, and how to use his players in the best situation and put them in the best situation.
I got YouTube comment. I got Viz Rust. In Drake May's last press conference, he was asked when did he know he can trust Stephon Diggs, and he said during middle school. Did you guys have players you looked up to as kids and you got to play with?
Yeah, Tom Brady,
Tom Brady,
Randy Moss, Wes Welker, Junior Seau. I mean, when we got drafted to the Patriots, you know, they were already a dynasty for 10 years at that point. And every guy on the team still, Kevin Falk, Teddy Bruschi, like all those guys. But Tom mostly because he was a Bay Area guy, and you know, he went to some school that was a rival school, and I just remember like being on the asphalt at like 8th grade saying, "I'm Tom Brady."
Yes, and this is a great question because when I was at the University of Arizona my sophomore year, I had like a big game, scored a couple of touchdowns. So then I got interviewed by, I think her name was Karen Bauman. I'm pretty sure she was the reporter for the University of Arizona for the football program on like the University of Arizona's like athletic page. And she asked me, she's like, who can you see yourself playing being your quarterback in the NFL? And I was like, Tom Brady for sure. Like, and I'm still mad to this day because the interview was on air. It was like on the internet, but I can't find it anymore. What? So like when I was in college, I kind of like manifested that I was going to be playing with Tom Brady and that, you know, we're going to be on the same page and we could trust each other. So I would say in college for myself.
That's crazy, you know?
Crazy.
That's how long Tom played. And then Tom was playing with kids that weren't even born by the end.
Yeah, like he was 21. Like,
when he was in his 24th season, there's guys that weren't even
yeah,
born
when he
started playing in the NFL.
Yeah, when he started in the NFL, they weren't born yet. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's freaking wild.
Another question from YouTube. Iman Moshari. What's a route or concept you two disagreed on early in your careers that eventually became one of your strengths?
That's a great question. I mean, I would say here we go. Mine was the flag route, but it wasn't like we disagreed. I mean, are we talking disagreeing with Tom or like Julian and I disagreeing like who should be running the route? What's that?
Open for interpretation.
Oh, okay, open for
whatever
interpretation.
you think.
I would say just because I mean, you and I wouldn't argue about a route. It was kind of like obvious, like what type of routes I would run, what type of routes you would run. In this situation, there was a play where the third guy would run a juke route, and the second guy, say Jordan, the third guy runs a juke route, the second guy runs the seam. Well, I wasn't a juke player. So like my legs are too long. I wasn't quick out of my break when, you know, within 5 yards. So, but I was a great seam runner. So when there was confusion, like, okay, the play was called and where we were supposed to go and we lined up, and I would line up as a juke player and you would line up as
seam player.
As a seam player. Like right there, we would know to switch because it was just a little confusion in the call of the play. So we would switch because we knew that was the best, you know, possible situation for us to have a successful play. But there wasn't really any beef or anything. I would say the only time I kind of beefed with Tom was me running a flag route, and he always wanted me to go outside the guy. And the guy was playing so far outside of me, it was like kind of hard to get outside of him.
Be like an out route.
Yeah. So like I was going inside, and then he was like yelling at me going inside. He's never going to throw me the ball. And then finally, like he noticed that when I do go inside sometimes that
back shoulder.
Yeah, I can get open still.
For me, I would say that. So the question is what you struggled with or what?
What's something that you didn't like early in your career that you grew
the
to
juke
learn?
route. I hated the juke route because it's a trust play between the quarterback and the receiver. And it took me a long time to gain Tom's trust. He only trusted one guy or a couple guys at that play.
And the main guy was Wes Welker.
And was Wes Welker.
The first one
I
that
could
he
do
trusted.
the same thing he did, but if he didn't feel it, I was a lot, you know, he always used to tell me as a younger player, you got to be decisive. You got to be decisive when you're doing the jukes. You can't just do this and then this. You know, you got to be decisive. So, and that ended up becoming, you know, a strength route. So I would say the juke route.
You were just telling a story about the first time you and Tom really connected on a juke route. Remember that?
Where?
We were talking. It was on Monday. We were talking about, was it Puka? Fuck. And like Tom looked at you because you ran a different thing that you were supposed to, but he knew that you ran.
That wasn't a juke route.
Okay.
That was in Miami where he gave me an out route.
Okay.
He gave me an out route, and I ran a slant route, and he hit me, and we went for like 40 or like 30. It was like one of those games. I think. Remember that game we lost in Miami?
I
think you got hurt.
a couple times.
That was like right after you got hurt.
Is it when you?
I did the Gronk spike?
Wait, is it when you brought it to the house?
No,
Right.
No, it was just I did it on that game. I brought one. That was a juke route to the house.
But you also leveled someone that game or something? You had a crucial block.
No, that was Mike, Big Mike. That was a different one. The year that in 13,
Okay.
like right after
13.
you tore your ACL.
Oh, all right. This was a while ago.
We lost the game.
Yes.
But there was a time where like we didn't like I think Dola was kind of banged up and like he could only throw to me. And so like there was a couple times he went out and he gave me like an out route and I was getting like the guy was like 4 yards to the outside. Not
Yeah,
letting me
it
run an
would
out
have never
route.
been possible.
And so I just popped a slant and he banged it to me a couple, you know what I mean? And that's when I knew we were on fucking same page.
And also because you were so decisive with the route. Like
Decisive.
you didn't hesitate. Like
Didn't
if you were hesitating at the top shot, run the out and oh no, I'll run the slant. Well, boom, you're covered. And then he wouldn't have thrown you the ball.
But in that game, I did take that under. I took an under and I housed it and I did the Gronk.
Yeah.
Remember the
You
Gronk
did.
spike?
And it was to win the game as well. Or
No, we lost
kind
that
of
game.
oh, we
It was to
lost.
tie the
Okay.
game. I think they came back and won.
Yeah.
We lost that game, I think.
Question from
In
Kyle.
Miami, late in the year.
On eBay, every find has a story. Like if you're looking for a vintage sports tee.
Not just a tee, the vintage sports tee. You wore it everywhere.
Then your bro started wearing it, which was cool until he moved across the country and took it with him. Not cool.
Now you're on eBay, and there it is. Same tee, same team.
Still living in your memory rent-free forever.
The things you love have a way of finding their way back to you.
But eBay isn't just for getting whatever your friend stole back. It's also for that piece of sports memorabilia you've searched the globe for.
Or your first car, the one you wish you never sold.
But now finally get a chance to take back home for good this time. It's the best place for hunting for one-of-one sports memorabilia. It's so much cooler to find something that no one else has.
Shop eBay for millions of finds, each with a story. eBay, things people love.
Question from Kyle 5444. What makes Josh McDaniels a good offensive coordinator?
Kyle 444. That's a good question because I've been advocating for Josh McDaniels like since last year, since there was a new coaching staff and everything, to become the offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots. But for me, for what my eyes saw and the experience with Josh McDaniels for so long, I would say just the ability to know his players, what he has, and how to use his players in the best situation and put them in the best situation and use their strengths and not their weaknesses so that you can have success as an offense and put you in those situations where you can make plays, put you on the routes that he knows that you could run best. And that's what Josh McDaniels is so good at. And also teaching the game of football and teaching defenses, to the offensive players so they understand what's going on in the coverages that you're going to see.
Yeah, his detail and his teaching is very good. And like Rob said, his ability to taper offenses around the talent that he has. Like we had different types of teams every year according to who was healthy, who was who we had that year. The years from 2007 were different than the years in 2018. And that's all Josh tapering the offense to what his players do the best. So, I think we're seeing another example of that this year in New England.
And here we go. So say Josh McDaniels has an offense, and these are the plays that he's going to run. And this is what makes him so great as well because, I can't run those plays because the formula of the players that I have, they don't make these plays really work. So I got to adjust now. I gotta create new plays and put my players in different situations and put them on different plays because they have different strengths and weaknesses than the players I had the year before. And that's what makes him great. He knows how to adjust his plays and create new plays as well. So they're the best plays with the players that he has and uses their strengths and what they're good at.
I like it.